Okay, I mentioned in our last session of Skylanders lore, in the Ancient Era, we ended off on the Archeans and their creation. But what do Archeans look like? And we need to know more about Archeans because we need to understand them for the next era of Skylanders lore. Because the whole entire thing is called, well, the era of the Archeans. Frankly, they would be very important. So, let's start off of what they look like. I mentioned they were robots, but that doesn't specify what exactly they look like. Yes, it does mention that they're robots, but there's different kinds of robots. So, let me show you a basic giant soldier of an Archean empire. That is an Archean. Most Archeans are enemies you've seen throughout the Skylanders games, but some of them are also Skylanders. Here's an example of some Skylanders that are Archeans. Now, those are just certain Skylanders that are also Archeans. As I mentioned, they're robots, but they are also magical robots. Magical robots that have sometimes souls. But depending on the Archean, sometimes they have souls, but sometimes they don't. To tell the difference is their sentience. Do they act more robotic, or do they act like people? Do they need commands to operate, or can they operate on themselves? Now, we were on here in the timeline. Now we're in the Archean era. And since we just finished specifying what Archeans are, they're robots with souls that sometimes contain bones that are made out of magic. Now let's specify what happened after the Archeans were made. So, the Archeans were influenced by the darkness, made an evil empire. They weren't fully corrupted. Since the darkness was now weak, it couldn't fully turn things evil. So, the next best thing was influence them. Since the Archeans were once Portal Masters, they protected the core of light, as usual. But they started becoming more corrupted. They started creating an empire. Then, because of their conquering and enslaving multiple civilizations, there had to be some form of resistance. And here we are, the creation of the first Skylanders, known as the Giants. The first 8 Skylanders from long ago. The ones who assembled the groups, the many Skylanders that come later. We may know them as Bouncer, or Ninjini, Thumpback, Treelax, Eyebrow, Crusher, and Swarm. As well as Hothead. I forgot him for a second. Anyways. Then came a battle. A few battles, conflicts, Giants versus Archeans. And it comes to the very first level from Skylanders Giants. It's the time of the Giants. Then after that, we get the final battle of the Archeans. So, the people who made the Archeans were known as the Archean and Sorcerer Kings. They were the creators of the original machines. They got banished from the remaining Portal Masters for creating them because of how much of the evil conflict they have created. Now, after the Giants fought the Archeans and defeated them, they got sent away. Not until after they trained many other Skylanders on their ways. You may know some of them throughout the years. Some of them have you've seen, some of them have passed on. Some of them got disappeared out of nowhere. We don't know where they are. But that is a general of how the Skylanders first started. And that's how the Archean Empire ends. Most of them shut it down because the main thing that was controlling the Archeans was deactivated, which was the Iron Fist of Arcus, which was held by the Archean King. And that's where we end today's bracket on Skylanders lore. You may close your books, get out from your seats as we ended the bracket.